times we get weird shapes like this to find the area of. We have to figure out how much space the inside of this shape takes up. And we don't know a formula to find the area of this type of shape. We can't count the squares because some of them might be cut in half, but some of them may not. Like, look at this square is not a half, so you can't really match this with things because it might not match exactly. So when we have a shape like this, we don't count the squares. What we do is we turn it into either parallelograms or triangles to help us solve, because we know how to find the area of a parallelogram, we know how to find the area of a triangle. So there's two ways you can actually do this. I'm going to show one way with my blue pen, and then I'll show the second way with another colored pen. So the first way I'm going to show you is to turn the whole thing into a rectangle first. So I'm going to complete the spaces that aren't there already, and I'm just going to turn my whole shape into a rectangle. Pretend that these pieces are part of it. Okay. So I just completed my entire rectangle. So I have a big rectangle here. And actually I'm going to outline the whole thing. So this whole thing is my rectangle, we're pretending. And so I'm going to find the area of the whole rectangle. So my height of my rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 5. And then my base of my rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now I'm going to find the area of this rectangle. Rectangles are parallelograms, so I'm going to multiply my base times my height. So my base I said was 8, my height I said was 5, so 8 times 5 gives me 40. So the total area here that I have when I added these pieces is 40 units squared. But 40 units squared is not the area of my black shape. I'm going to shade it in so we can see what I'm trying to find the area of. Okay, I'm trying to find the area of this shaded piece. So these blue pieces that I added on here, those aren't part of my original shape. So I need to take away their areas. They're not part of the original shape, but they're part of the area that I just found. So I have to take away those pieces. So to take away those pieces, I have to find the area of those pieces. So I'm going to find the area of this rectangle up here first. So this piece first. So my length of that piece is 2. The height of that piece is 2. And this is a rectangle or a square, which is a type of parallelogram. So I'm going to use the parallelogram formula to find its area. So base times height, 2 times 2, which gives me 4. Okay, so I know that the piece this blue piece here that I just solved for is 4. Okay, now I need to solve for this piece here. So this triangle, this is a triangle here, so I need to find the height and base of my triangle. Well, I'm going to use the bottom of my triangle as my base. So my base is 1, 2, so that's 2. And the height of my triangle, this is a right triangle, so my height, the line that's perpendicular to my base is this right here that I'm outlining, and that is 1, 2, 3, 3. So now I'm going to find the area of this triangle. An area of a triangle is different than a parallelogram. Area of a triangle is base times height, then divided by 2. So I'm going to multiply my base I said was 2 times my height I said was 3 divided by 2. So 2 times 3 is 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the area of this piece here is 3. I'm going to circle it so I know that this is important. Okay, so this piece I said was 4. This piece is 3. Now I have one more piece that wasn't part of my original shape, and that's this right triangle up here. So I need to decide what my base is going to be for this triangle. So I'm going to call this line from here to here my base. So my base is 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. And then my height, I need a perpendicular line to my base, which this side, because it's a right triangle, it's perpendicular, it makes that right angle. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, so now I need to find the area of this triangle. I'm going to do the same thing that I did down here. Base times height divided by 2. My base I said was 3. My height I said was 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Divided by 2. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Okay. So, and I'm going to circle it. So all my pieces that I circled, all those numbers that I circled, those are all extra area pieces. They're not part of my original shape. So I have to remove them from my total area. My total area I said was 40. So I have to subtract these 3 numbers, where's my line? These 3 numbers from my 40. So before I subtract them, I'm just going to add those pieces together so it's less to subtract. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11.5. So I'm going to subtract 11.5 from 40. It's a decimal. I have to line up my decimals. Can't take 5 away from 0, so I have to borrow. Can't borrow from 0, so borrow from 4, 3, makes that a 10. Borrow from the 10 makes that a 9. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 1 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. So my actual area of this shape is 28.5. Oops, I forgot my units. 28.5 units squared. And to set that apart from the rest of my answers, box it. Then I might say answer, so that my teacher knows that that's my answer to this problem and the other pieces are not. Okay, so that's one way to solve this problem. Okay, so that was how to solve it with the blue one. The blue work that I just showed you was how to solve it one way. So now I'm going to solve it another way, but I'm going to use red this time. So another way to solve it is to take this shape that I have, and instead of making it into a rectangle and adding pieces, I'm actually just going to cut this apart into parallelograms and triangles. So I'm going to look at the shape and find where can I make triangles out of this shape and where can I cut it into parallelograms. So the first thing I notice is this here. Looks like I could probably make a triangle out of it. So I'm going to draw a line from here to here. So now I have a triangle. This shape here is still not a triangle or parallelogram, so I'm still going to have to cut it up. That's what I'm saying. So this here is really what's causing my problem. This is why it's not a parallelogram or a triangle. So I'm going to take my line and I'm going to make another triangle. So I'm going to make a triangle from here to there. And if I look here, I see another triangle. So I just saw another triangle from there to there. This shape that's left here, still not a parallelogram or a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one more time and make this into 2 rectangles. there. So now what I have is I have 2 triangles and 2 rectangles. I know how to find the area of a triangle and I know how to find the area of a rectangle. So I'm going to find the area of these different pieces and then I'm going to add them together. So first I'm going to find the area of this rectangle up here, which is the base. We'll say this is the base. The base is 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 by, and then the height, the perpendicular height, 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. Okay. So now I'm going to find the area of this rectangle. So my base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. My height that's perpendicular to this base is right here. This makes a perpendicular angle. So I'm going to count 1, 2. So my height is 2. The area of a parallelogram or rectangle is just base times height. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. So now I have to find the area of my triangle. So the area of my triangle, I'm going to find the area of this triangle first. So my base needs to be a side of my triangle. So I'm going to say this is my base from here to here. So that's 1, 2. So that base is 2. And my height, it needs to be perpendicular. So this line here makes that right angle. So this is perpendicular. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So my height on this triangle is 3. Now I have to find the area of a triangle. Areas of triangles are base times height and then divided by 2. So I'm going to multiply my base, I said was 2. My height, I said was 3. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So the area of this triangle here is 3. And I'm circling these numbers so that I know which numbers are important when I go to do my final solving. So I'm keeping myself organized. All the work for this rectangle is in this one. All the work for this rectangle is in this one. All this work for this triangle. So now my final triangle, I'm going to count the base is 1, 2, 3. Height of this triangle, which is perpendicular, so perpendicular is here. That's 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to do base times height divided by 2 because it's a triangle. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4. It's the area for that triangle. Okay, so now I've found the area of the different pieces of my shape. Now I need to add it all together so I can find my total area of this entire shape. So I'm going to add my pieces together. So I'm going to look at the ones that I circled. So I have 12 plus 9 plus 3 plus 4.5, so 4 is in the ones place, and then the decimal 5, because I have to line up my decimals. These numbers don't have any decimals after them, so same thing as zeros after their decimals. And then I'm going to add it all together. 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. 18. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 28.5 units squared is my final answer. And then label it so my teacher knows that that's my answer.